Robles here with us tonight. I actually had the pleasure to watch his whole collegiate career. I was wrestling national in 2008 when he was a freshman. And I remember, the applause. I'm pretty sure standing ovation, goosebumps had by all, I'm sure. I remember people saying that 125 pounder from Arizona State almost got All-American. He was one round away. He was like round 12. And basically the whole wrestling world was in awe. But absolutely no one could have imagined him becoming a 3-time All-American and then an undefeated national champion his senior year. Especially the doubters he's had his entire life. People saying he was too small. I saw a couple interviews he's had, and basically people, whether they'd be laughing or having doubters his entire life, is pretty incredible. Again, absolutely no one could have guessed that this was going to happen. He's an amazing athlete, and what he's done in athletics is truly remarkable, but that does not define him. Every time I've heard him speak, he's consistently diverting credit, whether it be to his coaches, his teammates, his family members, and to God. I think Anthony Robles is the true definition of what it means to be a humble champion in the sport of wrestling and also in life. So, ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Robles.
Thank you. How's everybody doing? I'm liking this weather right now. I've been here for about 2 days. People keep apologizing, saying how rainy it is, but I love it. I'm from the desert, so I don't see it as much. But the national match, I was back on March 19th, and still it's the greatest moment of my life. But right after that match, though, my life, it was never the same. Everything changed overnight, and I was in a dream. I got a call from Nike saying they wanted to sign me. I signed a book deal, and we're close to signing a movie deal. I was signing with an agent. All these crazy things going on in my life. And I get back home to Arizona. I'm on campus, finishing up my classes. And so people are recognizing me from TV, and they're wanting to take pictures and stuff like that. So I'm excited. I'm feeling great about everything that's going on. I knew I wanted to get into professional speaking, so I've been working with a speech coach before the national tournament. And so he told me, okay, I'm going to let you focus on what you need to do, win that tournament, and then we'll do speaking afterwards. So after the tournament, I get back, I'm ready to go. I'm fired up. Okay, let's do this. He's like, okay, slow down. We're going to start you off real small. I'm going to start you off small, just get you used to everything, real easy. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I just wrestled in front of 20,000 people, did a bunch of interviews, but if you want to start slow, fine. That's what I'm thinking. So it's like, okay, good. We're going to start small. We're going to go about a group of 20. So I think we should go with third graders. A group of 20 third graders. Really easy Q&As. I'm like, all right, that's easy, nothing. So I show up to this school, it's elementary school, and they introduce me, and I'm feeling like I'm about to wrestle. I'm backstage, they're introducing me. I'm jumping up and down. I'm excited, ready to go. Come out, it's a Q&A. First question, this kid stands up. I notice he's wearing a WWE shirt. Yeah, he's wearing a WWE shirt. He's got like John Cena on it or something. So first question he asked me, he's like, you ever wrestled The Rock? And I saw his shirt, so I knew he was into the WWE stuff. I didn't want to break his heart, tell him like there was no Santa Claus or something. So I told him, no man, I do a different kind of wrestling. I didn't tell him it was fake. I'm like, no, that's not the real wrestling. I just told him, I do something different. But his question kind of sparked a little fire with all the other third graders. So he started raising their hand. You ever wrestled Undertaker? I'm like, no. You ever been hit with a chair? I'm like, no. So I walked away, and still to this day, I'll never go to a third grade classroom. It broke me down mentally. But in the room full of wrestlers, we know this is the real wrestling. And we know what it takes to be that champion in our sport. And the more I thought about it, though, what's unique about wrestling, we can tie it a lot into our lives. In wrestling, you're out there by yourself. You're out there on the mat by yourself. It's just you and your opponent. Just like in life. We wrestle with our opponents, whether it be physical disability, mental issues, family issues, work issues, whatever it is, there's always some opponent that we have to deal with. And at times it seems like we're alone out there. And that's what I'd like to talk to you about tonight. Is that even though we have those opponents on and off the mat, do we still believe that we can be unstoppable, no matter what it is? And a lot of people ask me, what was the change in my career from where I started from? And there's two things I told them, and I'm going to share those with you tonight. The first thing is having the right mindset on things. And to me, that means that you don't focus on the negative things or what can hold you back. Instead, you stay focused on all the positive things. And I approach things in life with this mindset. I learned it from my mom, as you saw. And my mom, she's a special person. She's very close to my life. But she actually had me when she was 16 years old. And she was really young. She was a junior in high school. And she actually had no idea I was going to be born missing my leg. The doctors didn't even know that. So she told me that when I was born, it was a shock to everyone in the operating room. It got real quiet, and they took me out immediately. So she didn't see me for the first few hours. They didn't tell her what happened. So they didn't even know if I was going to survive, basically. They ran all these tests on me, and they said nothing's wrong other than the obvious. So I'm perfectly healthy. We don't know what happened. And if you have kids, you know we have a lot of questions growing up. And I was no different. I didn't understand why all these other kids had 2 legs and I had 1. I didn't understand why they pointed at me and stare. Even adults would stare at me. And it made me really uncomfortable. So I was always asking my mom, what's wrong with me? Why am I different? And she always gave me the same answer. She always told me, God made you this way for a reason. Just don't be ashamed of who you are. Just believe in all the things you're going to be doing in your life. And so I started to believe it. She continued to say that to me throughout my life. And because of that, I really grew up with my head in the clouds. I grew up thinking I could do anything I wanted to. I started wrestling when I was 14 years old. And I had a few obstacles to deal with when I first started. As you all know, high school, 103 is the lightest weight class. In Arizona, we call that twigs. For me, fully clothed, full stomach, I weighed 93 pounds my freshman year. So I'm pretty small. My teammates would joke around. They said I look like Urkel without glasses. I thought it was ridiculous. I thought I looked more like a Denzel. So, you know. If you catch me in the right light at the right angle, you'll see it. Just gotta look. But I was inexperienced in my wrestling. I was 14 years old, never seen a wrestling match before, didn't know what I was doing. My teammates have been wrestling since they were 5 or 6 years old. So they're shooting double legs, single legs, high crouches. I don't even know how to get the gear on. I'm behind. And I'm trying to compete with one leg. So that was a challenge for my coach as well as me. He never coached someone like me. And that first year, it was terrible, honestly. Terrible. I was like the Bad News Bears rolled up into one wrestler. I was 5 wins, 8 losses, and last in my city tournament of Mesa, Arizona. So it's not the county tournament, state tournament, it's just last in my city. So I'm not the #1 draft pick for my high school, to say it lightly. And I was pretty discouraged. There was a lot of people saying, just to be happy that you're out there. They had those low expectations of me. Just be happy you're competing. And then I had people just shit up, just making fun of me. So, you know, he's the handicapped kid. He's not going to be any good. I heard it all, and it made me angry inside. And I was pretty discouraged, but I went to a varsity wrestling match that year. And I saw at that time a state champion. His name was Chris Frigie. And he became my mentor. He became my Michael Jordan of wrestling, that guy I wanted to be like. And so I trained with Chris all summer, every single day. I was his little tag along, started getting on his nerves. Chris isn't the nicest guy when it comes to wrestling, so he likes to throw you into walls and push your face and give you wedgies and stuff like that. So I dealt with it all. But he showed me a lot about wrestling. He made me mature in my wrestling. But he made me mature as a human being too. There was one practice, we're doing drills and we're finishing up. And so it's the end of practice and coach says, okay, we're going to finish up, a few more drills and then you can go. So I'm thinking, all right, get what I need to do, get out. He says, do 10 push-ups. So I knock out my push-ups and I notice Chris keeps going until the rest of the team's finished. Just keeps knocking them out. Then we do our sprints. I finished mine. Again, Chris is the last one. And I didn't really understand why he was doing it. For me, I was just thinking, all right, get what I need to do, be gone. He's going still. So I asked him after practice, well, why were you doing that? Why are you doing the extra all over? And he said, well, if you want to be average, man, just show up and do what's asked of you. But if you want to really be a champion, you need to be willing to work when no one else is, to do that extra effort when no one else is. And he told me that everyone's willing to just show up, but not everyone's willing to do the extra step. And I have this quote in my locker. I had a quote, and I still have it now with me. It says, the prize is in direct proportion to the price. the greater the rewards you seek, the greater the effort needs to be to achieve them. And Chris showed me that. I couldn't get by doing the average anymore. So I was right there competing with him, trying to be the last one to finish, to get those extra reps in. And it really helped me improve my wrestling. My dream was starting to turn into a vision. And my mom always told me when it comes to accomplishing those goals in your life, you need to be like a horse with blinders. And I don't know if you're familiar with horse racing, but they put these blinders on the horse's eyes so they can't see what's on their left side or their right side. They're forced to stay focused on what's in front of them. She told me that's how you need to be when you're going after your goals, your dreams. Don't let those obstacles on your left or your right get you down or hold you back. Just stay focused on that goal and run for it. And that's what I did. I finished my last 2 years of high school a 2-time state champion. And I won senior nationals. So I'm waiting there by the phone thinking, all right, I'm getting those college scholarship offers now. This phone's going to be burning off the hook. I'm waiting. Didn't really ring. And I'm sitting there wondering why. And I understood. They thought I was too small. I wrestled 112 my senior year. And they're like, yeah, you did well in high school. That's high school. That's Arizona. This is the elite. This is college wrestling. So I didn't get the D1 offers. Fortunately, Arizona State stepped up and they offered me an academic scholarship. So I was a walk-on to the team. They said, all right, you prove yourself, we'll give you some wrestling money. And my first year, I went to nationals. I was one match away from becoming an All-American. And I still think about it now because it makes me mad. Still think about it. I lost with 10 seconds left in overtime, takedown. I made one mistake. Tanner Gardner from Stanford. I remember it. Makes me mad. He finished a 4-time All-American. He was a senior. I was a freshman. And I finished my career later on as a 3-timer. So if I wouldn't have given up that takedown, made a little mistake, I could have been a 4-timer. But I like to joke, because I see him now. He never won a national championship, so he didn't get the ring. So when he waves at me, I'll wave with the pitchfork so you can see the ring on my finger. Just kind of go like that. Just give him a little grief for it. But going into my sophomore year, I was ranked as one of the top 10 wrestlers in my weight class. And I felt great. Season was going well. Everything was going smoothly. But it seemed like my world just came crashing down. And that's my second point for tonight. I got sick. Excuse me. I had gotten sick towards the end of my season with mono. And I had forced to be out of practice for 21 days straight. So we all know, wrestling, if you're out for even a week, it's going to be a while before you're fully 100% again. So I'm out 21 days, come back a week and a half before our Pac-10 tournament. And I'm struggling, trying to get my conditioning, all that back, but my personal life was getting thrown through the blender too. I come home with my mom one day, and there was a note from my dad on the table, and it said that he was leaving. So he left our family, and we didn't hear from him for about 2 or 3 months after that. So I didn't know where he was at, if he was even alive. And he was an income earner. So my mom was there with my 3 little brothers and my sister, and we can't afford bills anymore. Food, can't afford it. And we lost the house. We couldn't afford the mortgage payment. And felt like I was depressed all the time. Felt like things couldn't get any worse when we get a phone call. And my girlfriend of 3 years, she lost her father in a tragic accident. So there was literally nothing to look forward to in my life at that time. And I'm getting ready to wrestle my national tournament. And I finally hit the bottom, rock bottom. I was in practice. I was the captain of my team, and the 3rd string backup was looking like a national champion, just throwing me around the room. I got teched 2 times that day from him. And it's not good for your captain to get beat up like that, especially from the backup. So my coach comes over, and he wants to encourage me. Coach Ortiz. He wants to encourage me. And Ortiz, he's not the most gentle guy. So he comes over and just starts screaming at me. Spit coming out of his mouth. Telling me, you're quitting. That's not going to make you an All-American. And I'm just breaking inside mentally. So I'm trying. By this time, my teammates are looking. They can see him screaming and yelling. They're looking over, seeing what's going on. And so they see me get my butt kicked. And so one of the times I tried to stand up and face my opponent, he picked me up, slammed me down, and I just, like, whatever, I'm done. I stopped moving. Didn't get up, just lay there on my stomach. And my coach knew I quit. Mentally, I was broken. I had nothing else to look forward to. So he pulled the guy off me, and he made me sit on the edge of the mat the rest of practice, just watching my teammates. And I'm sitting there just feeling sorry for myself. I told myself, no, there's nothing I can do, I'm done. my season's done, whatever, I'm finished. And my coach comes over, I'm expecting more screaming, so I'm getting prepared to yell at. He sits down next to me, and he told me something that changed how I was thinking. He said, there's a lot of things in your environment that you can't change. There's a lot of negative things going on in your life that you have no power over. He said, don't let those things affect you and hold you back. Just focus on what you can control in your life, otherwise you're going to live a miserable life. Not just wrestling, you're going to blow the rest of your life living like that. And he sent me home. And I thought about that, and I made a list of what I could control in my life, what was going wrong, and did I have power over it. And it seemed like all the things I was worried about, it's like, wow, I'm letting all this affect me mentally, and really I can't change it no matter what. And it felt like that weight was coming off me. Came the first day of my national tournament, sophomore year, and my first match was against Charlie Falk from Iowa. And I think he was ranked third. He'd already beaten me twice, and once was earlier that season. So I'm not the favorite one to win this one. We all know Iowa. They're kind of like the Darth Vaders of our sport, you know. So 12 mats in this national arena, and I got lucky enough to be placed right in front of the home Iowa fans. So they're right there behind me, chanting, yelling, screaming, and my whole 20 fans from Arizona State, all the way on the other side of the arena. So I'm alone over here. I can remember he was looking at me, just wouldn't take his eyes off me. And my coach sees him, because he looked like he was taking it really personally. He's about to rip my head off. My coach sees him and shrugs and smiles at me. He's like, I'm kind of like that, I'm happy I'm not you right now. So he shrugs, I'm like, bro, what are you going to do? And I start laughing. I kind of smile, I start laughing. And so my opponent sees me laugh, and his coaches see me laugh. They think I'm laughing at him. So it gets even more serious. I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. But I kept saying in my head, like, control what I can control. It's like, I can only control how I respond to this situation and what I do. And I beat him by 9 points. I measured him. And I actually placed fourth that year. And I was excited. Didn't win my title that year, but there's a lot of mental challenges I had to overcome in my life. A lot of mental opponents I wrestled with my family issues. My junior year, we all have those turns we don't do as well as we wanted to. But I All-American. But my senior year, it was March 19th, 7:05 p.m. Remember, I was standing in the warm-up tunnel. They got this big old camera in my face from ESPN, and I'm just terrified. I mean, I'm scared out of my mind. Wrestling, another Iowa boy, my luck, returning national champ. And I start getting those doubts in my head. You know, I'm thinking, I knew what they were saying. I heard that what the fans were saying. They're saying, oh, he's not going to beat the returning national champ. He's going to get blown over. He doesn't have a chance. I heard that. I said, oh, McDonough's conditioning, he's going to take him out. So I'm sitting back there thinking, okay, you know, maybe second place isn't that bad. Like, uh-oh, what am I doing here? And I run out of this tunnel, I see all these cameras flashing, jump on this mat, and I look up one more time at the crowd, and I knew where my family was at. It was my mom, my girlfriend, my brothers and my sister, and my high school coach, and Chris Friedrich, they're all up there. I was like, man, my support system's here. You know, my voices in the crowd are up there. And it's kind of neat because these athletes, they're going after their Olympic dream. All you sponsors are their voices in the crowd. But they need your support like I needed those people. They can't do it without you guys. But fortunately for me, they were behind me, and I saw them, and they're all wearing these Unstoppable shirts. They made them up before the tournament. So I'm on this mat, I see this guy coming at me, and before the whistle blew, I was like, all right, this is my match to win. I'm going to get that ring. And like I said, I knew what they were saying, but I had no chance. So I was thinking, I'm not going to make this a close one. I don't want to leave any doubt in anybody's mind that I'm the national champ this year. So I wanted to tear them apart. And so right through that whistle, all right, it's go time. Just like practice, let's do it. And I beat him by, it was 7-1 final score. And I can remember just raising my hand, just that dream finally coming true. And it proved to me, you know, I was unstoppable. I didn't leave any doubt in anybody's mind. Coming from last in the city of Mesa to a national champ where nobody wanted him, it was amazing for me. But we went to the ESPY Awards, my family and I finished my speech with that poem. It's called Unstoppable. And I'm a big quote guy. I like to have quotes in my locker or quotes at home, just post it up to help me through things. So we made that poem so other people could drop from it. And in closing, I'd like to recite it for you, but it's called Unstoppable. Every soul who comes to earth with their leg or two at birth must wrestle his opponent knowing it's not what is, it's what can be that measures worth. Make it hard, just make it possible, and through pain I'll not complain. My spirit is unconquerable. Fearless I will face each foe, for I know I am capable. I don't care what's probable, through blood, sweat, and tears I am unstoppable. But thank you very much for your time.